What's up YouTube, it's Brian from B-Town Doors, continuing with the do-it-yourself month of April. As you can see, my bow here is completely stripped of all accessories because we are going to put this thing back together. Recently just restrung it, I showed you that you can restring your bow without a bow press, and I just used the Bowmaster, worked perfectly. This thing, these strings are all stretched out, ready to go and ready to tune, so we're going to start off by installing the rest. I've really got to remember to make sure my memory card's full before I start filming a new video. So the rest we're going to be talking about in particular, it is technically a drop-away rest. It is sold as a drop-away rest, but it's really unlike any drop-away that I've ever seen. So my old QAD is like every other drop-away on the market. You've got two forks that as tension is pulled on the string, it locks down, and as the arrow goes, it drops as quickly as it can, and your arrow just passes through just fine. There's supposed to be no contact at all. Well, besides falling, the Trophy Ridge kind of uses the same aspect as a regular drop-away rest, but instead of really falling, it more kind of opens. And that's what makes this product really unique. So I'm done talking, let's get into it. So this Revolution 2.0 comes in actually 5 colors. You buy the 2 colors separate, so it always comes with gray, then I've got a red and a green here, and it also comes in pink and blue. I went with the red and green because red's my favorite color. And let's be honest, you gotta bling out your bow, you gotta make it color. I'm not against camo and camo bows because my bow is camo obviously, but I kind of feel like camo, as far as the camo on the bow or the accessories, I kind of feel like that's a little outdated. So of course, the size Allen screw that I need to change this launcher arm is right in between all of my set Allen wrenches. So I'm gonna have to wait till I'm at work where I can get a proper size and actually change this bracket. But right now, I'm just gonna mount it to my bow just to get this thing on. The next thing I like to do when I'm dealing with any bolt that's mounting to my riser is I just like to take a little bit of string wax and just give it a nice coat on the threads. That way, there's no metal on metal contact, because I feel like over time, the metal kind of fuses with each other, and it kind of gets hard to take out that screw. So this wax give it a nice barrier so it doesn't do that. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is obviously mount to my bow. So I'm going to try to get my hands out of the way so I can really give you a good view of what's going on. I'm just going to put this in this first burger hole and get it tight. I don't want to get it too tight because I still want to be able to adjust the rest if I have to. So I'm just going to kind of get it tight to keep it in place by itself. So what I like to do with all of my rests is I like to push them as close as I can to the riser until I can't go anywhere with my screw. I feel like that's how you're going to get it the most level. With my old QAD, I could actually put the back right up against the riser so I know it's mounted perfectly level. This one's going to be a little bit tricky, but I'm going to push it all the way back, and it looks good right there. And then that's why I'm going to tighten it down. Yours might be a little different because you might have contact a little bit with your launcher arm. Right now, I don't have any contact, so I'm just going to tighten this down right now and get it as tight as I can without stripping it. And there we go. There we go. That's mounted to my bow nice. I made sure that I didn't have any contact with my shelf. Doesn't look like I do at all, and it looks like it's functioning pretty good. So this next part we're going to want to do is we're going to put the rest in the launching position, knock an arrow, and we're going to see if we're going to find where that knocking point is. I don't use any levels or adjusting tools like string levels or anything. I just kind of let it eyeball, and then I let my paper tuning do the rest of the work. So I just like to get it close. So you want to make sure this is a locking position, and it looks like I got to put this down just a tiny bit. Right there looks good. So since I don't have a D-loop, I'm just going to take one of these little lock sets and just put it on the bottom of where my knock is, just so give me a good reference point, so when I actually do put a D-loop on, I know where to put it. Alright, make sure we're still level. Looks pretty good. So there are 2 things that you can do that will replace a string bubble or kind of a string level, and that is, the first thing you want to do is you make sure this is in the locking position, and you're going to take another arrow and put it nice and flat on the shelf. And you could also measure, because you want that you want those 2 arrows running parallel, and it looks like my knocking point's a little bit low, so I'm going to heighten it just a little bit. So it looks like a little bit too much, so I'm going to lower it again. It's all these little tedious things you can do to fine tune that will really make paper tuning a lot easier. Okay, checking again. And that is pretty close. That's close enough to where I want it, and then like I said, I'll let the paper tuning do the rest. So the next thing you can do is you can put your arrow flat against your riser on this side, right next to the arrow, and you're going to want to again run in parallel. So it looks like I need to go a little bit to the left. And how I do that is really easy. We're just going to take your set of Allen screws again, loosen this up without bumping the camera. And I said I needed to go a little bit left with it, so I'm just going to bump it, tiny bit to the left. That should be good. We're going to lock that down. Checking again, it's still a little off, so I'm going to go a little more left. Alright, checking again, third time's a charm. And that looks pretty dang close. Again, going to paper tune it to really fine tune. And there it is. That is your drop away rest all set up. Now let's go tying the cord. Alright, so now I got my bow pressed. I have measured 3 inches from the bottom of my shelf up into my downward moving cable. There's 3 inches right there. And I'm going to do 1 inch worth of serving. And how I do that is I've got my serving here, and I'm just going to fold it in half like this. I'm going to make a loop here up top, and I'm just going to serve the slack right through that loop. Pull it tight. There, and that's your first knot right there. Double checking that we are still at 3 inches. So I'm going to throw that down right there. Pull that tight. Now I'm just going to take one side of this serving, and I'm basically going to do the same knot that I did on this one, only with 1 string. So we're going to make a loop and pass it through. And pull that nice and tight. And I'm going to do that all the way down until I have 1 inch. Every knot that you make, you're going to want to make sure you pull it nice and tight, just so that serving is not going anywhere. Alright, so I got about 1 inch there. What I'm going to do is take my scissors and cut about an 1/8 inch of slack. So then I've got this tiny little piece of tag end. Make sure that's nice and stuck, and I'm just going to burn it. Nut that right on there, so that's not going anywhere. And I'm going to do the same thing to this end. There. Now you have one side of your serving. So I already have my bow in the press, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my string separator and go right in between the red and the blue strings, carefully as I can. This might take me a couple tries. And you're going to try as hard as you can, or be careful as you can, to make sure that you split the red and the blue. You don't want to get some red on the blue side, or vice versa, or whatever color you have. And then I'm going to separate my string just like that, lock that in place. Then I'm going to take my cable from the dropaway rest and just throw it right up in there until there's no slack. Until there's no slack right here. Take out the string separator, and I'm going to unpress my bow just to make that string nice and tight again. So before I show you this next part, I forgot to mention that these launcher arms do come with some felt padding. That's going to get rid of any noise that you're going to have as you draw back your bow and the arrow slides through the launcher arm. So I'm just kind of letting you know right now, because this next part that I'm going to show you, I didn't bother putting the felt on because I knew I was going to put this red launcher arm on. So there is quite a bit of noise. I just want to let you know that is not going to happen. I've put like 5 or 6 arrows through this thing, and I got to be completely honest. It's a little bit quieter than my QAD. So back to the setup. All right, so I have all the slack out of the drop away cable. I'm going to knock an arrow, lock it in place, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back the bow. I'm not going to fire. I'm just going to pull it back, and basically what's that going to do is as the cable moves down, this cord is going to get pulled into place, timing itself. So that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to pull back the bow, not letting the arrow go, and that cord should have timed itself. So now you see you have some slack on the with the cable. That's good. That's what you want. All right, now that we've got that all served in, we're going to cut this about 1/8 of an inch. We're going to fray the end so it gives it a nice little bulb shape. And then if you haven't launched your lighter, there it is. We're going to burn this, get it nice and flat. This always scares me, heating up so close to my strings. And then just basically flatten it out with your finger. And there we go. Your drop away rest should be timed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned a lot. I really enjoy making these videos, so I really want to keep making them. So like I said, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. And guys, have a good day.